Hey everyone, Steve here from My Crypto World. Well, if you've been in the market long enough, you know that ups and downs do happen, and this week we've certainly had a pretty big down. So today what we're going to do is we're going to have a look at the overall cycle, which we generally do anyway, but I'm also going to go through and have a look at some of the longer term cycles and what that might mean for crypto holders. I'm also going to go through and explain a pattern that may be happening in the market and why this short-term downtrend may be very short-term. And then we're going to go into some good news articles that may make you reevaluate whether you should be buying more, holding, or possibly even selling if you're not happy with those articles. We're going to look at things that are happening in Google and things that are happening with Facebook. And I know you're probably thinking, what do Google and Facebook have to do with cryptocurrency? Well, I'll explain a little bit about that. We'll have a quick look at XRP, Solana, Cardano, a couple of news stories from Theta, and we're going to open up one of my Theta packs that I bought recently through the recent Theta drop for the Battle Pugs. So all of that right after this. Okay, everyone. So as you can see on the screen in front of you, everything at the moment is a sea of red. In fact, the only coins that are really in the green are the stable coins. So USDT, and they've just changed to red, but only slightly. USDT and USDC have just changed as we're speaking, so they're not in the green any longer. Anyway, let's go and have a look at the chart, and we'll talk through some cycle options that I've got in my mind. Now, where is the chart? Here we go. So, as most of you know, I've always talking about a 30-day cycle on a daily chart. So every 30 days we tend to have a new low or a new high, depending on which way the market's going. Now, I wanted to share with you what might be happening as well. So there is a pattern in the market called the Wyckoff spring, and I've got a number of different charts of this or examples of this to go through with you today, just so I can make it clear on how it works. And this may be happening to our market at the moment. Fairly much what happens is after the market has had a run downwards or even a run sideways, what can happen is that the market can break its resistance level. So that's what we've seen at the moment. Let's just go back to our chart. And we can see here where we had our purple line, which is our strong support and resistance line. Today, it is now broken through that. And you can see that it's dropped well and truly below it. And it's even probably going to look like it's got an hour and 58 minutes to go before the close of the day. Let me just move that out the way. And we are going to probably close below that today. Now, I've often said in the market, if it closes below a support line, that's not good news for us. And typically what will happen is the market will move down to the next support line. However, we never know what's going to happen until obviously it's happened. So one thing that does happen from time to time is that there is a thing called a spring that happens where the market will move well below its resistance line, and then it'll spring back up through that, and it'll continue to go into a bullish phase. It can be seen better here on this example, where the market, you can see, has come down. Maybe you've gone sideways a little bit, come back down again, broken through its resistance level, and pretty much then bounced straight out of that and moved up into a bullish direction. And again, on another example here, this is a Wyckoff accumulation. Again, it talks about or shows you and demonstrates support and resistance line throughout this period. But you can see here when the support has been broken, that occasionally, not actually occasionally, it actually happens quite a lot in the market, both in traditional markets and in the cryptocurrency space, where a crypto, a coin, or the total market cap will break its support line and then use that as a spring to break back through and continue its rise up. Now, if we transpose that over to the chart we're looking at the moment, we've certainly had a nice downward movement. It's broken through its support line, and it's now sitting right on what I would say is just below the next support line. Let me draw that up there for you. There we go. So as you can see, our previous support line was way back here, where the green arrow was. Now that it's broken through that, Then the next support line is this one here. Now at the moment it's trading below that as well. It may come up in the next hour to sit above that. I'm not too sure whether that will happen or not. And then after that, failing that, then we go back to the previous high, which was down here at 1.13 trillion. So the thing is, we don't know which way the market's going to go. It's always in hindsight. We can only predict it's going to go one way or the other. I wouldn't have thought it was as bearish as what it's been played out at the moment, especially with some of the news articles that are coming out regarding the crypto space, but that is where things are headed at the moment. On another side of things, I spoke to you a little while ago in a previous video, and I spoke about the fact that there tends to be a 4-year cycle as well. So I've actually finished the analysis on that. It didn't take too long. I just was getting a few things wrong, and I wanted to run that past you today as well. So way back in 2017, actually we'll go back further. Let's go back to this chart in 2016. This is what the market looked like, the total market cap that is, in 2016. Now, the reason I'm bringing this up is I want to show to you that there are longer term cycles in play at the moment as well, and that's going to be pretty important for your mindset moving forward. So if we were owning any type of cryptocurrency in the marketplace back then, this is pretty much what it looked like and how the market unfolded. Now, at the time, you never know where the all-time high at that particular time is going to be. So for example, if you were somebody who was holding onto some cryptos back here, so that we're in about June 2016, you would have thought at that point in time that this high here is the all-time high, and it was at that stage. Maybe you would have thought that that's it, you're getting out, you've had enough, it can't go any higher. And then what tends to happen is you can see the highs break, but it's always in hindsight. You never know what's going to actually happen and how things are going to unfold. Now, the reason I'm bringing this up to you is because from its low way back here in 2015, all the way through to its high, which happened on the 1st of January 2018, that period of time was 200 bars. Now, we're at the moment on a weekly chart, as you can see up here. So we've got 200 weekly bars between the low and the high. So 200 bars, there's 52 weeks in a year, so we can accurately predict that there's probably a 3.9 year cycle there, 3.9 to 4 year cycle happening between its low there and the high there. Now, because we didn't have really a high before that, that's the best we can do to measure it. We could measure it from here, which was a high at the time, but again, you can't just keep picking highs and highs and highs and say, well, this is the new high, so we're going to start the cycle from there. It doesn't quite work like that. So what I've done in this particular case is I've started it from when the market was charted all the way through to that recent high. Now, if we take that high and we measure that distance from the start of this high all the way through to its current high, as the market unfolded, we can see we've got 201 bars, so almost the same. Again, another 4-year cycle has unfolded in front of us. So it might also mean that we're and the start of many cycles that can be bearish or sideways before they do take off again, as you can see here. So when we go back here, when this blue patch here, when it was brand new, when it was the start of this very start of the cycle, you can see that a lot of people, if they didn't get out at that high, and again, most people didn't, because you don't know it's a high until the high is over. But you can see here, as the market unfolded and continued to drop, many people would have lost their minds. They would have sold out at everything they had, probably. Many did, while the market continued to retrace down. What they're missing out on, though, is that while you've got a year or two of sideways movements and downward movements, really the bulk of the cycle was also very bullish, as you can see here. So I suspect that if that's the case, and if we don't have the Wycroft accumulation spring pattern happening, as I explained to you just a moment ago, then what we're going to be left with is the start of a new 4-year cycle. Now, this would make sense because if you remember back on our weekly chart, we had a number of cycles that just didn't make sense. All the way along here, we've had pretty much consistently a 31-day cycle. And as we get closer to the end of a major cycle, the 30-day cycle can be warped. And you can see here we've got days where we had a 20-day cycle here, a 24-day cycle here, then we had an extended cycle here of 35 days. So everything was sort of wasn't kind of marrying up properly. But that always happens when you're at the end of a longer term cycle. The longer term cycle will always be the dominant cycle in the marketplace. So that's where the market could be at the moment. Again, hindsight's wonderful. Wish we had a crystal ball. We just don't know. Your decision is to obviously whether you take your profits now and get out and save yourself the heartache if it's something that is of a concern to you, or whether you hold and either hold and sit back and wait for the next cycle to unfold, or maybe you do something like dollar cost averaging in and you buy more of those cryptos that you're holding to and accumulate more wealth as the market continues to develop and grow over time. Again, this is just my financial opinion. It's not financial advice at all. So that's where that is with the cycle. So let's go now and have a look at some good news stories that are actually happening in the marketplace, and we can go through those now. So the first one is, sorry, just getting a message from my son. The first one is Google cards to store Bitcoin and crypto report. So when you've got big companies like Google, mammoth companies, whales you would call them, like Google, talking about getting into the crypto space with things like cards to store Bitcoin and crypto, you have to understand that the market is now so big, the crypto market is becoming so powerful that the lows in the market can't last forever. And this is where dollar cost averaging can really help you build your wealth for the future years or months. So the article goes on to say that Google is tiptoeing into the Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies as the company's payment divisions struggles with to gain significant market share in the payment industry, and touts adding custody capabilities of such assets to its digital cards, according to a report by Bloomberg. Now, I'm just going to put my glasses on because I'm struggling to read here. Google goes on to say, crypto is something we pay a lot of attention to, said Bill Reedy, Google's president of commerce. As per the report, and as user demand and merchant demand evolves, will evolve with it. Now, why is this really interesting? Well, other than the fact that Google's a big player, outside of the crypto space, have a look what was advertised back in June 2019. Google bans advertising related to cryptocurrency products. So you can see the difference in the mentality between the large players in the market from 2 years ago to now. So at one stage, they're looking to ban cryptocurrency from advertising or anything to do with it. And today they're looking to get involved in it. So it's really, really clear. Now, Facebook also back in, I think I'm going to say 2018, I think it was 2018, also banned cryptocurrency from their platform. And this news article has come out this week. Facebook and Instagram are reportedly exploring plans to make, showcase, and sell NFTs. So it is very interesting how quickly people can change their perception or views on things. If the company launches such tools, it would be the biggest show of mainstream support for NFTs to date and help solidify the controversial asset space in the digital world. The article goes on to say that for Meta, embracing NFTs could also help it wield greater influence in what the company has labeled the metaverse, a nebulous concept of interconnected virtual worlds similar to promises of VR, virtual reality, universes floated in the 1990s and before. That could potentially boost the value and importance of NFTs whilst simultaneously centralizing control over the assets. So again, you've got two big players, Google and Facebook, looking to do more in the crypto space, whether it's in cryptocurrency or whether it's in NFTs. Really, it doesn't matter. The fact that big players are getting on board now is really interesting, and that's positive news for us. This is why the market cannot go down forever. You've really got to read through the FUD and have faith in the projects that you have invested your funds into. Remember, we're always after coins or cryptos that are going to shake the market up. If you've been following this channel for a while now, you know that my portfolio is quite diverse, but it's also built around the structure and uh, the structure of the project that's underway with those cryptocurrencies. A coin is really just a representation of what the company is actually doing. So you really want to look at the project and make sure that it's going to be it's going to be a winner, and they've got the management team to lead it. Some other news, XRP lawsuit. For those that hold XRP, I'm a XRP holder, a big one. XRP lawsuit now believed to end in August. This is frustrating, but there's nothing we can do about it. Really, really frustrating. It was supposed to end in January, and now it's been pushed out to August or September 2022, so this year. The article, I'll just cite the article here a little bit. Attorney Jeremy Hogan added that the parties can stipulate a shorter time frame and the judge would agree to that. But do you think the SEC would agree to a shorter time frames? Me neither. So he knows it's all bullshit, to be honest with you. To conclude, and assuming there won't be any future unexpected delays, the new prediction is that the SEC versus Ripple lawsuit won't be decided judicially until at least August 2022, and more likely September of this year. A settlement is still possible, namely if the SEC feels threatened. That's interesting. If the SEC feels threatened by Ripple's findings and arguments throughout the next few months. Unbelievable. While it would be natural for Ripple to want a settlement in order to get back to orderly business, Chief Executive Brad Garlinghouse said he wants to take the case to the very end. Now, for me to read that Brad wants to do that gives me, I want to go out and buy more Ripple. XRP. I want to go out and buy it more now because I know that he knows his business in and out, and he is very, very confident of what the decision is going to be in their argument against the SEC. So that's pretty powerful there. And I'll keep you up to date with how that evolves over the next couple of months. Also in the news, Cardano right now may be a better bet than Bitcoin and Ethereum. So again, a big plug to Cardano. I've spoken about Charles Hoskins in the past and what I thought of him. So the article just goes on. So if you're a Cardano holder, reading articles like this is really important because it does give you faith that things are going to work out okay. Let's go have a look here and read through this. The catalyst for Cardano right now appears to be the fact that the cryptocurrency has hit several key milestones in recent weeks. ADA USD has exceeded the 20 million transaction mark with no downtime in over 1,500 days of operation. So that's incredibly rare. And Cardano is now held in more than 1 million digital assets worldwide. Also key has been the launch of the rewards token, ADA Cash, last month, which reached a market capitalization of 30 million and more than 10,000 holders less than a month after its debut. Developers are coming up with new projects that include non-fungible tokens, so NFTs, and an exchange for decentralized finance or DeFi transactions. In addition to all of that, the Hydra upgrade catalyst for the Cardano is a Hydra upgrade, which is expected to take place later this year and will dramatically improve the processing time for transactions as if they weren't already fast enough. The faster speeds will make Cardano even more useful when it comes to decentralized finance as well as smart contracts. So that's really, I won't go on to read the rest. It's very, very good news for ADA. Finally, we've got an article on Theta, my favorite. Why this article is good for me is because I've been promoting Theta now for, it's got to be, if it's not 2 years, it must be at least close to it. But when you read articles, when you're promoting it and you're talking about the benefits of Theta to you guys, it's really actually comforting to see an article come out that also supports the same arguments that I've been saying. So somebody else out there has got a different view of mine. Is in a completely different country, and they're writing about the same things I'm talking about. So I think 2 or 3 videos ago we did a a Theta board and went through the positives of it, but to see it written by somebody else is great. So down but not out. Here's why Theta could be a breakout star in 2022. Goes on to talk about Theta Drop, which launches on the February the 1st. I've spoken about that in depth. One of the biggest developments for Theta in 2022 will be the full launch of its Theta Drop NFT marketplace. Plans on airdropping the T-Drop governance tokens to members of the Theta community start on Feb 1. Now, as it is right now, well, there's been no news article saying there's going to be a delay in that, so I think it's going to go ahead as planned. Theta Drop does not have any plans for a token sale and instead plans to release its 20 billion token supply over a 4-year period to its members of the community who provide NFT liquidity mining or stake Theta, Tfuel, and T-Drop on the network. Staking access improves, which is the second reason why Theta is a goer. Improving access to staking is another potentially bullish factor for Theta and its Tfuel utility and gas token. When the network first launched, users were required to stake a minimum of 10,000 Theta to operate a Guardian node and to help secure the network. Eventually, the required minimum was lowered to 1,000, but Theta's price run over $14 in early 2021 resulted in most token holders being unable to meet this threshold as well. This led to the creation of sites like Gpool and more recently Theta Board, which gives Theta and Tfuel holders access to staking for a small commission. So I've spoken about those places as well in the past, Theta Board and Gpool. Really what they do is they operate for the smaller holders of those tokens, and you're really pooling all your resources and Thetas into a centralized exchange where that goes on to provide liquidity to that market. Gpool, I can't remember what the fees are. I'm going to say 4%, something like that, which if you're a small holder of Theta or Tfuel, 4% is nothing. To be able to pay Gpool or Theta Board a small portion of your rewards for that, 4% of your rewards for you to be able to stake it and get passive income, that's a good outcome. Theta Board also launched its own NFT marketplace, and I'm going to have a look at that in a moment, to serve the growing NFT ecosystem, which includes limited editions of NFTs collections released by popular celebrities like Katy Perry. So again, spoke about the Katy Perry Theta Drop when that happened. Finally, the third reason why, and that is blockchain gaming and video streaming are still growing sectors. A third reason for taking a bullish stance on Theta is Theta in the future is the protocol's focus on advancing blockchain-based video streaming and gaming and its current partnerships with Samsung and Sony. So again, I don't have to say it again, but I do believe Theta will change the way we work and operate in the metaverse and in other areas as well. So while we're talking about Theta, let me head over to my Theta Drop account. Now, I've spoken about some of the NFTs I've purchased in the past. I still have a Cyberpunk Kingdom pack, which I haven't opened yet. I'm kind of reluctant to open it, to be honest with you. So I got edition number 768 out of 233. When we go back, I also got, I've purchased other ones. There's my Katy Perry Mirror Motivation one. And there's a whole heap of other ones here. I've got the Thetazilla and the Chosen One, the Theta Warrior, the Symbiosis NFT as well. And I also explained to you that I get my NFTs for free, because what I do is I use my Tfuel that I'm earning from staking my Tfuel, and I'm just grabbing that and using that to purchase NFTs. I've also purchased a Passaways. Again, I've been reluctant to open it. I don't know why I am. I kind of feel like it might be worth more in the packet. That's possibly a silly thing because you don't know what you've got. And yesterday I purchased the Battle Pugs second edition drop that happened. But you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to open it. So let's go and have a look at what it is. I've got edition 2,548 out of 3,000. So just made that. That is, these disappeared very quickly. And we'll open the pack and see what's inside. There's my Night Pug collectible NFT, edition 188 of 200. So that's not bad. We'll just go done on that. that now is added to my thing. It's actually one NFT. It still says it's processing, which is fine. But then if I wanted to, I could click on that or click on any of these, and I could run them onto the marketplace to be sold for hopefully a higher price than what I paid for them. But at the moment, I'm just going to sit and wait and be happy with that. I may open the Passaways and Cyberpunk Kingdom in the future. We'll see what I feel like. Anyway, that's it for this week's video. I trust your trading's going well. Again, take it easy on yourself. You don't control the markets. I know we all like to think we do control the markets, and we want the market to do what we want it to do rather than what it wants to do. So take it with a grain of salt that sometimes you just got to ride out some bearish moves in the market. But again, it is a personal opinion of mine that we are going to see better days ahead of us. The market won't disappear, and the crypto space will easily move from roughly a $2 trillion market at the moment to possibly a $10 trillion market in the near future. My investment opinion only. So for me, it's a buy and hold and a dollar cost averaging strategy moving forward. Take care of yourself and each other, and we'll see you in our next video. Cheers.